Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're all well. So this week's video is all about becoming either a business owner or self-employed and the difference between the two. And I'm kind of inspired to do this video because I've been talking to some of my really close friends who are taking the leap from being an employee to becoming self-employed. But the conversation has quickly stopped and changed to the difference between a business owner and a self-employed person. And what has been something very consistent is that the individual who has taken the leap of faith by leaving their employment isn't aware that there is a massive difference between the two. And I personally first came across this after reading the Rich Dad, Poor Dad 4-quadrant book, which basically categorizes every single person into either employed, self-employed, business owner, or investor. And in that book, it tells you and it shows you how to move through the different quadrants and to eventually become an investor, which is getting money working for you and not working for money, which I guess is the underlying message in this video. Let's backtrack to the conversations I've been having with some of my closest friends. And one of the biggest realizations for me when I took the decision to move away from employment to becoming an investor and skipping the self-employed and business owner steps. So first of all, hats off to everyone who is looking to better themselves and to do something which is to put you firmly in control of your financial stability and your financial future. Because even though people get really bogged down with job security, the real security is in taking control yourself. And the biggest risk is leaving your financial future and your family's financial stability all linked to the company that you are working for, which is effectively managed and controlled by other individuals. So you're putting all of your security based on someone else's skill set and ability to achieve long-term profits for that company. But becoming self-employed isn't necessarily starting a business. Now, a lot of people get confused. Now, having your own business and having your own brand is one thing, but running a business and a business that effectively pays you a wage through a process and a system that you have created isn't the same as being on the tools and doing the work yourself. Now, self-employed tend to be people who are at the top end of their game as an employee. This is everything from tradespeople to craftsmen to consultants, anything and everything. You tend to find that if you're a really good electrician, really good plumber, really good tattooist, really good hairdresser, you will eventually become self-employed because you realize that you're being charged out at a much higher rate than you're being paid. And there's a massive gap in between. So you think, well, look, I can have a go at this and potentially earn more money. So the gross income that you start to charge yourself out at is a lot more, but you have all of your costs. I'm not here to talk about profit and loss and costs and offsetting. This is about exchanging time for money. And more importantly, if you're not able to work or you become ill or you injure yourself, what effect does that have on your ability or your business's ability to earn and generate income? And unfortunately, self-employed individuals are hugely affected if they are not able to work and their business stops generating income. And this is effectively the difference between a self-employed person and a business owner, because a business owner has a business that runs whether he's involved in it or not. And a really good example of this is the trade and pub that I have. Now, I never work there and I never pull pints, I never make coffees, and I never serve cakes and toasties. But that doesn't mean I'm not interested in that business. And actually, I tend to do a hell of a lot more than just run the business because there are elements of that trade that I really enjoy. But if I decide to go away for a month or not ever give that my attention, the cycle that I have between staff, suppliers, and customers is so well oiled that it will run itself. And that is a good example of a trade in business. To give you another bigger example would be someone like Elon Musk. He doesn't ever have to go into the car manufacturing process and build the batteries for his Tesla. That business runs itself while he's off exploring and working on his SpaceX and missions to Mars. And I guess the goal is to move from self-employed to business owner as quickly as possible, because you take away an element of risk. But until you do, you are effectively exchanging your employed status for a self-employed status. You may earn a bit more money, you may have a more tax efficient way of hitting costs against that income, but effectively you are still working for money. A business owner, a trading business where you don't have to get involved, you are still working for money, but you're having other people work to generate income. Effectively, you pay people to do a job and they produce money back. And then moving on to, I guess, how I saw things. So I was an employee, but I was also a part-time investor. And I read this book and a few others, and I quickly realized that if I was going to start a business or start doing the work myself, I was effectively trading my job for another job. I could have started doing the manual laboring or the manual physical work in my projects. But one, I didn't have the skill set, and two, the ability or the desirability to do any of that work. So I quickly moved my investment strategy to a business model, a functioning oiled machine that would work whether I was involved or not. And where I really only had to be involved was deciding what types of property to buy, negotiating with contractors, and establishing what the rental income was going to be. But that was a very minor part in terms of workload, but quite crucial parts in terms of the decision and strategy and direction. And it's that which I then adopted to my other trading businesses. And I was able to jump from an employee to an investor without going through self-employed and business owner. And my business became working with investors. So not only was I making my own money work really well for me, but I started to make other people's money work well for them and me. And that became my business model. But unfortunately, I started to go backwards in terms of the overall quadrant strategy. I started to have a business with employees that weren't generating income. I was still the only income generator, and I had more and more employees which were supposed to help take the burden off my admin mundane tasks so I could go and earn more money. But unfortunately, what happened is that the time started to get swallowed with managing the employees. So we started to do less deals or less profitable deals. So I quickly, when I sold the businesses, I quickly re-established the fact that I was the only person involved in terms of the property company, but we used the professionals and the consultants and the skilled trades people to deliver what we needed to do within that business, all being managed by me and all being managed through systems and apps that I could use on my mobile phone, which is how I've been able to upscale and still maintain a relatively good lifestyle while still doing multiple projects. And I guess that is the biggest difference maker, is when you learn how to manage a business through platforms that are easily accessible everywhere around the world, apps on your mobile phone, phone calls, Zoom calls, all of those sorts of things, and using consultants like accountants, bookkeepers, skilled tradespeople, pension providers, mortgage brokers, really good solicitors, all at the end of an email, all at a phone call away, you can systemize and manage a property portfolio, a property business, or a trading business without ever having to be there doing the physical work. And that is the biggest difference between a business owner and a self-employed person. And you can pretty much any sector that you're looking to go into as a self-employed person can and should look to establish a business where you can influence the direction and strategy so you can employ the right people so it produces income when you are not there. And I know the skilled labor, the skilled tradespeople will be screaming at me saying, well, no one is as good a plumber, no one is as good as a carpenter, no one is as good as a kitchen fitter as me. And I do get that. And there is always going to be staff issues, technical issues, quality issues when you take this journey, which is why sometimes it does take to rethink either the business that you're entering, the sector, or even if you should go into business and you should jump straight into the investor category. So I guess that's it from me. I hope it's opened some people's eyes as to if you are looking to make the leap of faith from employee to business owner or self-employed and you don't really know what the difference is between the two. Make sure that you do some research and you understand what you are jumping into, because you could be jumping out of the frying pan into the fire if you are literally just going from employee to self-employed person. So that's it from me. Hope you found the content rich, and I'll catch you all on the next video.